Dawn is still breathing through the window when I open my notebook and spread 3 maps across the table. One is an old facsimile covered in numbers and gaps that seem to laugh at anyone trying to decode them. Another sketches desert contour lines with rushed pen marks. The third traces a thin line along a creek, as if water could store memory. Leo lays out the gear in silence. Clara checks the camera, focusing on the paper's yellowed edges. 3 real stories, 3 points on the map of the United States, and one question that hasn't let me sleep. What's still alive inside these clues? If you love unraveling real mysteries with us, hit subscribe now and drop a comment telling us which of these 3 cases you believe hides genuine answers. Your comment helps pick our next destination and keeps this expedition moving. Time to let these maps speak to the real world. The car hums low as the road stretches ahead. We restate the rules. Respect every place, never cross boundaries, safety first. Our method is simple and stubborn. Make the land answer the story. If the geography rejects the legend, we step back. If the ground accepts the plot, we move forward. Rolling fields, old trees, and a hush as heavy as a closed book greet us in Bedford, Virginia. The Beale Ciphers live here like a persistent whisper. Coded messages, supposed chests buried long ago, the eternal tug-of-war between hoax and truth. Clara catches the first light of morning. Leo overlays GPS relief on a historical map and gives me a look that says, "Take it slow." I walk slowly, letting my feet learn the place's language. I look for discrete patterns, gentle rises, natural divides, stones arranged in a way that feels intentional. On a low ridge, I find an alignment that looks touched by hands. Nothing dramatic, but stubbornly symmetrical. The soil shifts underfoot, fine gravel over solid rock. If I wanted to hide something for decades, I'd choose a place like this, tough on the curious, kind to those who know what they're seeking. I open the facsimile. Old words describe directions without street names, using trees, river bends, and shadows. Leo marks 3 promising coordinates. Clara photographs shallow scratches on stone, maybe erosion, maybe memory. We promise nothing. We simply feel, for a moment, text and landscape agreeing with each other. "It's easy to see what we want to see," Leo says. I nod. We don't dig. We don't force signals. We record measurements, angles, and distances. The goal here isn't to find a chest. It's to test whether this story can live in space. Sometimes, the first win is proving the real world doesn't deny the legend. In the notebook, we leave 3 markers, a line following the ridge, notes about light and shade. The wind ruffles the pages as we head back to the car. We carry nothing from the hills, only better questions than the ones we brought. The map's colors slide into copper and dust. Victorio Peak rises like a blade beneath a dry New Mexico sky. Stories speak of deposits hidden in caves, corridors that confuse, markings nearly erased by time. Heat hangs in the air like a warning. I tip my hat, take a steady breath, and remember our first rule: caution before curiosity. The official trail zigzags up the slope, and we stick to it. Extra water, lamps checked, comms agreed. No unstable entrances, no sketchy shortcuts. The desert is far too beautiful to underestimate. Clara leads, looking for relief features that cast shade. On the tablet, Leo surveys the frozen waves of 3D terrain like a still sea. On the sandstone, I see faint lines that could be nothing more than the wind's handwriting. Or not. I hover a hand without touching. The rock keeps the day's heat. Nearby, a natural niche with clean airflow, firm ground, and a watchman's view of the valley. If someone wanted to leave something here, they'd plan for a quick exit and minimal traces. I overlay an old map onto modern relief. A fold in the land matches a path people once used to dodge the worst of the sun. Clara photographs a repeating pattern: 3 strokes, a pause, 2 strokes. That might be nothing, or the habit of someone who needed to remember. Leo drops a pin on the GPS and says we should return with a guide and proper permission. This spot deserves time. Something glints between 2 rocks. My heart jumps, breath shortens. The silence grows heavy. Leo lifts it out carefully. A modern, crushed can. We laugh under our breath. The desert remembers everything. It's our job to separate what means something from what only gets in the way. We mark 3 windows in the terrain, add arrows to return, and write down the golden rule. Caves are libraries that only open for readers of rock grammar. We descend slowly, letting the sun go first. Back in the green, the stories change their accent. Mosby's supposed gold returns in accounts that span generations, valuables stashed in a hurry, side roads, quick in and out with no witnesses. We look for logistical coherence, distances that make sense, shaded routes, natural watch points. In the library, pages creak. At a cafe, people remember. A woman speaks of an old fence line that once aligned with the creek. A man recalls hurried footsteps before dawn, as if the night were the only safe place. I listen, take notes, and let versions overlap until only what's plausible remains. The creek moves slowly, carving patience into its banks. Cut edges show layered sediments, roots like veins in the earth. I walk the contours, imagining someone choosing a spot close enough to return, far enough to stay unseen. Clara records a run of profile shots. Leo estimates depths and how the channel may have shifted through the years. Under old leaves, a corroded fragment, worth nothing, but aged. It isn't what we're after, but it speaks to the timeline. We cross-check with maps of former properties, fences that no longer exist, paths that lost their names. Little by little, an invisible drawing starts to reappear. I gather our notebooks on the hood of the car. It hits me. We're not collecting legends, we're validating methods. In Bedford, text and land nod to each other. At Victorio, terrain and strategy make sense. With Mosby, logistics and secrecy still walk hand in hand. In every case, geography answers when the question is honest. Treasure for us isn't an X on the ground. It's the meeting point of testimony, logistics, and soil. If all 3 agree, the search goes on. If one falls silent, we change the question. Today, our questions got better. Evening turns the trees to copper. Clara sorts photos, isolating patterns in the markings. Leo ranks our notes by priority for a return trip. I close my eyes for a moment and let the 3 places breathe inside me, as if each one still had something to say, and had chosen us to listen. When Clara enlarges one of the sandstone shots from New Mexico, she notices a sequence of marks that, aligned, echo a specific passage from one of the texts tied to the ciphers. 3 strokes, a pause, 2 strokes. The same rhythm, the same silence. Chance loves to tease us, but sometimes it just points to the next door. Tell me your theory. Which of these 3 cases has the strongest chance right now? Beale, Victorio, or Mosby? Leave your comment below. And if this careful, responsible way of investigating feels like home to you, hit subscribe. The next clue is already on the table. I slide the maps back into their plastic sleeves to guard them from the night air. Darkness settles in, bringing the calm that only shows up when the right question finally arrives. Next episode, we return to the desert with that rhythm of marks in our heads. Maybe it's coincidence. Maybe it's the first syllable of a larger answer. And that's why we keep going.